Richie Potter came over for a play date and offered Uncle Feather money to talk. $5 if you say my name. He held up the $5 bill for Uncle Feather to see. You're bribing Fudge's bird, I asked. What do you think Uncle Feather would do with $5? I don't know, Richie said. I guess he doesn't get to go shopping. Richie folded the bill until it was so small it practically disappeared. Then he stuck it in his back pocket. If you want to bribe him, try his favorite fruit, I said. He loves pears. Richie and Fudge dashed off to the kitchen. Melissa said, My mom says her acupuncturist can fix anything. Her what? Fudge asked. Acupuncturist, Melissa said. It's some kind of doctor. He sticks needles in you and you get better. Nobody's sticking needles in Uncle Feather, Fudge said. Buzzy said, Tough love, that's the answer. Don't let him push you around, Fudge. Let him know who's boss. Grandma laughed and said, Really, Buzzy? Uncle Feather's not a teenager. He's a bird. Jimmy said, My parents got divorced because my father never talked to my mother. That's the first detail Jimmy's dropped about his parents' divorce. Uncle Feather's not married, I reminded him. Maybe that's his problem, Jimmy said. Maybe he wants a mate. I looked at Jimmy, waiting for more, but he just shrugged and said, It's a possibility. That night I studied the Minna Bird Handbook. I found out that if you have two Minnas, that they don't relate to their humans in the same way. They relate to others instead. So forget about another bird. Fudge told everyone who would listen about Uncle Feather. In the elevator, he told Mrs. Chen, who's visiting her family from China. She speaks only 3 words in English, okay and no problem, but she listened to Fudge as if she understood exactly what he was saying. Then he nodded and said, No problem. In the lobby, he told Olivia Osterman, I once had a Minna bird, she said. My bird could say, I love you, Livy. I love you so much. Where's your bird now? Fudge asked, speaking up so Mrs. Osterman could hear him. Oh, he's been dead for years, Mrs. Osterman said. Birds don't live as long as people, and most people don't live as long as me. I'm going to celebrate my 90th birthday soon. What do you think of that? I think that makes you a lot older than me. Good thinking, Mrs. Osterman said to Fudge. I'm a very good thinker, Fudge said. And sometimes I am too, she said, snapping her fingers. Because I just got an idea about your bird's problem. Maybe he's lost his hearing like me. But you can still talk, Fudge said. Yes, but I wear hearing aids. If your bird can't hear what you're saying, he might not talk back to you. I said that's the first real idea anybody's had about why Uncle Feather stopped talking. That night after Toasty went to sleep, we gathered in Fudge's room to find out if Mrs. Osterman was right. While the rest of us sat on bed, Dad tiptoed across the room and slammed Fudge's door. Uncle Feather heard it all right. He jumped off his perch, flapped his wings, and jerked his head from side to side. You can tell he was really upset. So much for Mrs. Osterman's idea. The next day I went online and found a website called minabird.com. I sent a message asking if anyone knew why a minna bird would stop talking. I got 5 messages back, but nobody could give me a definite answer. Henry Bevelheimer came up to have a look. He watched Uncle Feather for half an hour. He said, just what I thought. Your bird's on strike, Fudge. On strike? Fudge asked. Yes, Henry answered. He's holding out for something. Now all we have to do is figure out what. More pears? Fudge asked. Mom said more pears means more poop. Uh-oh, Fudge said. We don't want any more poop. What else could it be? Henry asked. What else is really important to him? Free time, Fudge guessed. He likes the free time a lot. Don't we all? Henry said. He already gets 2 free times a week, I told Henry. Maybe he wants more, Henry suggested. I don't think we could handle more than 2 free periods a week, Mom said. Not with what we have to go through every time he's out of the cage. What Mom meant is minnas are known as frequent poopers, especially after they eat. So when Uncle Feather's out of the cage, all the furniture has to be covered. We put old newspapers on the floor. Then we pull down the window shades and drape the mirrors because the birds are attracted to light. But Mom's Fudge said, maybe that's it. Maybe it's not, she said, thanking Henry for his time and showing him to the door. Sorry about that, Mrs. H., Henry said as he was leaving. It's all right, Henry, Mom said. It's just that Fudge wants his bird to talk so badly he's willing to believe anything. It must be tough on the little guy. Yes, Mom said. I think it is. Mom called the avian vet, someone who only treats birds. That night after dinner, Mom and Dad sat Fudge down in the living room. Mom said, Fudge, this is what we're going to do. We're going to be kind and gentle to Uncle Feather, friendly but not pushy. Dad said we're going to move his cage to a new spot for a while to see if that makes a difference. Not out of my room, Fudge cried. I can't sleep without Uncle Feather. We'll move him to another part of your room, Dad said. Maybe closer to the window so he has a better view. And then we're going to wait, Mom said. For how long, Fudge asked. As long as it takes, Mom answered. That's the avian's vet advice. And then he'll talk again, Fudge asked. We hope so, but there are no guarantees, Mom told him. If we had $1,000,000,000,000, we could find a vet who would know how to fix him. This has nothing to do with money, Dad said. Money can't fix everything. How do you know? You have $1,000,000,000,000,000. That's true, Mom said. We don't, but no amount of money will make Uncle Feather talk again. We just have to be patient and hope for the best. Poor Uncle Feather, Fudge said, and tears rolled down his cheeks. It's so sad. Isn't it sad, Pete? He doesn't seem sad, I said, trying to sound upbeat. That's right, Dad said. He's as playful as ever. Fudge shook his head. He just doesn't want us to know, so he's pretending. What a thoughtful bird, Mom said. Fudge nodded. He takes after me.